I'm just going to get right into it. Part 2 of our Bond extravaganza, 2003 sets, 007 collection on this outer box. Now this is, it's shocking, isn't it, that Roger Moore takes up an entire pack, 7 movies. He really should not have made that many. Now this outer box, even though this is the Moore years that we keep in here, the outer photo on the box is actually Brosnan. It's just I wanted to have all of the Moore ones together in one pack since there's exactly 7 of them and there's packs that hold 7. The one that has Roger Moore on the outside is the pack that holds only 6. So this is Brosnan on the outside cover. And there you go. It's just like the other pack except it's got Brosnan and it's blue instead of gold. And this was the first volume we ever got, and it originally came with, let's see, The Man with the Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me, Dr. No, Goldfinger, License to Kill, GoldenEye, and Tomorrow Never Dies. It originally came with those 7. But now we use it to hold the 7 Roger Moore movies. And I haven't mentioned yet how I like each of the Bond actors. There's been 6 of them, of course. And Roger Moore is a very disliked Bond by many. And I understand why. He's not one of my favorites. But here's the thing. He made too many Bond movies to just exclude. You know, so many people will just not watch any of his movies because they don't like him. The thing is, that's too many Bond adventures to just skip out on. So even if you don't like Roger Moore, you should at least watch the movies for the movies. And at the end of the video, end of this extravaganza, I suppose I will give you my order of all the Bond actors. However, not all the Bond movies, that would take far too long. So here we have Roger Moore stepping in after Sean Connery left, and then came back and then left again. And Roger Moore did give us hope that maybe there is life after Connery. However, his first film, Live and Let Die, is needless to say not a very good Bond movie. Well, I shouldn't say not a very good Bond movie. I should say it's not much of a Bond movie. You know? It's got a terrific boat chase sequence near the end. It's got good characters. Roger Moore does a good job doing at his first try. This is when he was more serious in the role, not, you know, giving in to all the silliness that he did later on. But it's not much of a Bond movie. I mean, the plot's one of the weaker ones of all the Bond movies. I know this is a Bond movie a lot of people love, but it's not one of my favorites. It's got, without a doubt, a terrific theme song by Wings, but it's just not much of a movie. But once again, enjoyable. Great car chase, great boat chase, good stuff. And then the next one after that was much improved over Live and Let Die, the way I see it. It vamped things up. The Man with the Golden Gun. And it's probably around the complete opposite of Live and Let Die. It's a very interesting Bond plot that really never slows down. Maybe a couple points that aren't necessary, but it's a very fun James Bond movie. It's got a great villain played by Christopher Lee, who is an actor that I love. He's played some of the greatest villains ever portrayed on screen. I've never really seen the man play a good guy. And Roger Moore, once again, does a good job in the second performance. The thing is about Roger Moore is he's not exactly what James Bond should be, the image. And that's why he's one of my lesser favorites. That's why a lot of people don't like him. Roger Moore plays the character very high-class, fancy Brit, you know, yes, Bond, James Bond, you know, tea time and all that. And James Bond is supposed to be charming, he's supposed to be witty and a womanizer, but he's also supposed to be very, very gritty and very down to earth. You know, he's not supposed to be all fancy, prissy, you know. And that's why I think, you know, Connery is my favorite Bond actor, because, you know, he does just a perfect job of playing the character. Like I said, he should be played. Next comes, without a doubt, the greatest Roger Moore Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me. This is the crowning achievement of Roger Moore. This movie, again, surpasses both the previous two, and is a very good Bond movie. It has one of the greatest movie villains ever. Not the main villain, though. He's a Bond henchman. Jaws. Most iconic characters ever. And, again, now a lot of people might criticize me for liking the girly, you know, well, not girly, but the love song style. It's the theme song of this movie, but I think it's got a great theme song. I love Nobody Does It Better. And it's got countless great action sequences, a good, rich story that you're involved in all the way through, and, you know, good performances on everyone's part all around. It's a very good Bond movie. And, of course, the Bond girl being Barbara Bach, who ended up marrying a Beatle. Ended up marrying Ringo. There's Jaws. And so that's Spy Who Loved Me. What do you know? Next, we come to the other Bond movie that I do not like. Now we come to a much improvement over Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only. Roger Moore from here on out should not have been making Bond. Get through this quickly. I know my last part was pretty long, but you know me. And this is a good one, actually. This is actually one of the Bond movies that I have seen the least amount of times. I've seen each of the Bond movies well more than once. I think the ones I've seen the least are the two that I don't like. I think I've seen each of those like 2 or 3 times, and all the others I've seen more than that. Zip through here. Now we come to the movie with a title that you wouldn't think. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to read it. Oh my god. But it's, you know, not a bad movie. It's a good Bond movie. Very entertaining. And this movie features Maud Adams, who, God, look at how old he looks. Features Maud Adams, who coincidentally appeared in The Man with the Golden Gun, you know, like a decade earlier, playing a different role. She plays the title role in this movie. I mentioned at the beginning of my first part my thoughts on collecting them all and the different editions and stuff. And I have, after further thought, decided that if they release every James Bond movie up to date on Blu-ray, maybe I'd make the transition. But other than that, I have no intention of doing it. Next we come to a Bond movie that most people hate, and that I think is very underrated. This is actually one of my favorite James Bond movies. However, there's no denying that Roger Moore is an old fart in it, and far too old to be playing the part at that point in time. He was probably in his 50s. It bothers you to watch him as James Bond in this movie. And as he got older, the girls got younger. That whole idea of, you know, well, the girls will make him look younger if they're younger. I don't know. But if you look past Roger Moore's age, if you look at this movie from just the standpoint of a Bond movie, of the story and the script, and of course the performance of Christopher Walken as the Bond villain, happens to be my all-time favorite Bond villain, Max Zorin, we have A View to a Kill, Roger Moore's finale. I love this movie. It's got a great story, it's got great sequences, it's got the best villain by one of my favorite actors. And as it just so happens, the Bond girl in this movie, Tanya Roberts, I actually met once when I was younger. I guess I was between the ages of, like, I was right around 8 years old, maybe. And we were at a place down where they have a yearly thing where they have celebrities come and do autographs and stuff. And she was one of them, and I got a photo of her and Roger Moore. This photo, to be specific. Got that one signed. Maybe I was 7. Anyway, here in the collage you have, again, a photoshopped picture of him when he was younger. Although, I don't know. Maybe that is from that time period. There he is, Christopher Walken. Mr. Bond, I'm gonna kill you. Obviously, I recommend these sets, like I said. They have a nice look to them. Mine are just, you know, they're old, so they're beat up. The outer boxes that the things are stored in don't age well. So that's a complaint. You get chipped and stuff very easily. But they're nice sets. I like them, and I recommend them. So there you have it. Part 2 of our extravaganza. Hopefully shorter than the first. So tune in next week for possibly the finale. We'll see. See you there.